Whoa, this... That sound is from the game, that's not my microphone or anything, by the way. Oh my god, what is happening? I'm in love in soundtrack in this game. Is that it's actually counted from 7. That's bad. Maybe she will like actually grant some wishes or something. Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for a new series on the channel. It's a very short story. I got recommended it by Discord. It's called Phenomeno. And it's apparently very short visual novel. It's like 2 to 3 hours, so we should close the story in like 2 episodes, I would say. And this is the horror. This is the horror visual novel. So I wonder how they will take this and what kind of story it will tell. We didn't have horror game on the channel yet, so we can try. And what's the Phenomeno? Apparently it's something about the university student that lives away from home, trying to live away from home, and found a very low rent house, which apparently grant wishes. So I wonder. Apparently something horrible is happening there. So yeah, let's just go to this and let's see what the story is about. Also, no, I'm not the character design. The character design is actually this guy or lady, I don't know, but credit to him or her. So yeah, it seems like it has 3 chapters, like you can see here. Also, it doesn't have like official translation, so if you want to play this game yourself, you will have to find the translation, like fan translation for this. It kind of was messy to boot up, but it kind of works. So let's see. Let's go to Phenomeno. Let's see what is this all about. Also, it have like very good scores on VNDB and very good reviews. So I want to read this. I hope you want me to read this too. Let's go. Ooh, that's nice effect. A little drop of blood. I wonder if my camera is right or I should like make it lower or so. We'll see how it will go. There are things that shouldn't be seen. Oh, it's going automatically. Often said my late grandmother, and that was quite true. Can I click? No. Ooh. The soundtrack, I already like it. I was drawn to the occult from childhood. Whoa, this... Very good start, I like it. I was drawn to the occult from childhood, and upon entering university, I learned the truth of those words by stepping many times into the edges of the netherworld. Oops. Ghosts. Being which no one can decisively determine whenever they exist or not. The story that begins here revolves around stories brought forth by them. And this story, it can also be said to be the story of it and I. As its eyes glimmer in front of strangeness, as it breathes out words with a bedazzled expression, it warped the world that I always believed in. It made me anxious on whenever the ground I stood on would shake. It would want me to look over my shoulder just by listening, and I grew to fear whenever someone were peeking from the dark shadow of the door. Maybe it was because the words it spoke included truths about the other side. It included truths that only applied to the scant, grotesque, wanting dead ones. It sounds like the post-game thoughts. It sounds like the beginning trying to show us like the end, but not really. Now, after it has disappeared, do I finally know that? As grandmother said, It was a world that I should not have seen. It was a story that was not for the living person. However, I intend to speak of that. I intend to speak about all of that. Because if I don't, it wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Because it, having lived on the edge of darkness, having struggled through the threshold of darkness, would not be able to live in peace. Yes, I'll say it once more. From here on, as a story that shouldn't be known. And we are going to know it. Oh my god. Oh my god. And there we have the title screen. Okay, it's case 1. Oh. Flow. Flow's the second name. Ooh, what was that sound? That sound is from the game. That's not my microphone or anything, by the way. Oh my god, I don't know if I should be scared or what. What was that? It was like stretching the... I don't know. I think my camera is in good place. So let's continue. Hey mother. If the beings called ghosts existed in this world, would it ever be possible for someone to prove their existence? Such that no one anywhere could argue otherwise? I think it would be impossible, no matter how much humanity evolves. On the flip side, it also means no one anywhere could prove irrefutably that they do not exist. From that standpoint, to discuss whether ghosts exist or not, is a complete waste of time. That's why people who can emerge victorious from such a discussion must be people who can purely enjoy ghosts as a source of entertainment. Indeed, I fall under that group, and you could call me quite bluntly as an occult maniac. I have some flashbacks of Umineko, you know? I don't know, if you are like fan of Umineko and maybe you're watching my series of Umineko, let me know. Do you have any flashback out of this? I just thought about Kinzo. Mother may not know, but this is quite a niche existence in the world. To be of my age and go ghost this, that. I know that people laugh at people like me, but you know, there are plenty of things in this world that are inexplicable. Yes. Oh. Ooh. Wow. I like these background noises. For example, the house I'm living in. It's old, almost 30 years old building. It's by the side of the Tamagawa waterworks, and partly because it's located in such an old place, has an incredibly low rent. When I came to Tokyo this spring, I looked for a cheap apartment and found this place. It takes 10 minutes of biking to reach convenience store. It's surrounded by darkness and covered by a thick copse, and because there's no streetlights in the area, it's completely dark at night. However, I enjoyed this old building. It was built like an old mountain cottage, as the first floor was a garage and the second and third floors were blown out, so it was more than luxurious for a person living alone. The kitchen was as cramped as the kitchen needed, but it had a living room, a Japanese style room, a bath, and even an altar. From what I hear, an architect has designed it as a personal workplace. I liked it at the first sight. Furthermore, for a place with a bath to be just 13,000 yen in Tokyo, Masashino, was unthinkably rare, and it even came with an oral story that could not be ignored. This is a house that grants wishes. So said the smiling real estate agent who introduced this place to me. The architect who built this became famous. The illustrator who moved in became busy and moved closer to the city, and the young couple that was living here until last month gave birth to a baby, which led to this becoming open. You're quite lucky. Okay, that's pretty cheap for such an awesome house. Like, seems like everyone else had pretty good time in this. Like, and they were successful later on, so I don't see a problem. After hearing that, who wouldn't immediately seal the deal? So I jumped at the opportunity. There was probably a feeling of superiority too, given that my colleges at the university pay over twice the rent and live in rabbit cages. In any case, I was quite pleased at how lucky a man I was with my first time living alone. Whoa, everything stopped. Yet, within a month, I realized how big of a mistake that was. Uh-oh. Whew. Oh my god, this is creepy actually. I can hear sounds somewhere when I'm sleeping at night. A squeaking of something, persistently attempting to open some old door. I'd assume it was just some bad structuring somewhere. But I soon realized that it was odd, that it always happened at 2 AM. I tried going to the living room from my bedroom at the edge of the second floor. And the sound would stop. I thought maybe it was coming from above and went to the altiere on the third floor, but there was nothing that could be the source of the sound. I'd planned to eventually organize it to be cooler, but at the moment it was bare environment with just my desk and a bookshelf. I looked around, but the windows were all shut, so there was nothing to make a sound. After that, I went to the toilet and the bath. However, I could not find anything that could be connected to the sound. Huh. It might be actually a haunted house or something. So I thought maybe I'm just hearing things and went to sleep again. That's not just hearing things, you know, that sounds like terrible. But then the sound started again. Maybe it's just the flora, like when you are sleeping. Just sleep somewhere else. Squeak, the sound of an old wood growing. I could also hear the sound of something scrapping. It was like a mouse or cat. It was an eerie sound, like something trying to crawl out of somewhere dark, after having been tormented for a long time. Eventually the sound stopped, seemingly echoing through the house. I felt like it was sipping through the atmosphere around my ear. As a result, I began keeping the lights on through the house and using earplugs while sleeping. However, the problem stopped being just sound. It was about 2 weeks ago. I found a decisive thing. Fuck you! It was about 2 weeks ago. I found a decisive thing. I found Nana, which is 7, carved into the wall of the landing of the stairs with something sharp. I immediately checked the doors and windows around the house, but there didn't seem to have been anyone entering. I was probably terrified. It was a pretty big engraving, but I forced myself to think I had just never noticed it before. Yeah, like what you can do outside of this? Oh my god, what is happening? Holy shit! Stop this! Why it's counting down? A few days later though, I found near the bathtub Roku 6. I think it's Roku. Something sharp had carved it into the window sill. And then a week ago, I found near the toilet 5. And even this easygoing person had to believe it. This is counting down something. I'm terrified. What the fuck? I don't know how about you guys, let me know in the comments, but I would get the hell out of this house if I see this. Something is counting down days. What the hell? Something was in this house. And this was some countdown. I immediately jumped out of the house. I couldn't live in this house anymore. I hadn't made any close friends yet at university, so I lived in karaoke boxes and net cafes for several days. I couldn't talk about this to anyone. I didn't know any monks, nor any mediums. Then I realized, right, maybe the people from Ikakabuchi, edge of the netherworld, would be the perfect to discuss with. The colleagues of mine, who were also into the occult world, may believe me. And so, incidentally, they aren't suspicious people at all. Yeah, sure. Like, occult is normal, especially in Umineko. No, we are plenty suspicious. Huh? I recalled all the sudden voice from above. Hello? What a soundtrack! Oh, wow. I'm in love in soundtrack in this game. I'll make camera a little bit smaller, maybe, so we can see bigger picture. When I looked up, I saw Karasu's white face, and she was waving her hand. Yo, Nagi. Can I like... Okay, maybe space? Okay, spacebar. Very cool character design. I like this art style. I like the drawing art style like this. It's kind of similar to Seki no Inganok art style. Not the same. Not the same. Like, totally not the same, but it gives me a little bit of this vibe. So, our protagonist is called Nagi. Karasu, since when were you there? I checked the time on my cell phone. It was 10:30 PM. There was still 30 minutes until the offline meeting taking place at 11. Right around when you began explaining the house that grants wishes to your mother. That's basically the start. I complained as I grumpily placed my stationary bag on my bag. Back on my bag. Sorry, but you know, peeping is like our trait, you know? Said Karasu as she smiled cutely. Aww. That was a family restaurant near Ichikai Road. We're going to have an emergency offline meeting here with the members of an occult site I frequent. And of course, Karasu wasn't her real name. It was a handle that she used online. Just a sigh. Yamada Nagito, go by the name Nagi. She went by Karasu, okay. So the real name is Nagito. Well, so he just shortened the name. This was the first time we'd met, but I still don't know her real name. However, she was a veteran on the Ikabuchi side, and thus a big senior to me, who only began looking at the site this spring. Ooh, whoa, yeah, definitely in the occult. Her appearance was as casual, a purplish velvet dress that reached her ankles, and below that was just a black camisole, or rather her chest was completely bare. It's not completely bare, it's just like, it's normal. I don't see anything weird outside of like bones and like knuckle with skull. Also, we have skulls here on her hands. Yeah, definitely into occult stuff. Anyway, very interesting design. I like it. I like it. Her breasts look like they would jump out of any time, which made looking at her awkward. However, that was her uniform of sorts. You're quite early. Did you close shop early today? I asked. Pretty much. Fortune tellers don't have much to do when there are no customers. So she's like a fortune teller, okay. She took off the stole. She was wearing and sat down across from me. But, you know, to put it frankly, she played with the skull-shaped accessory shining at her breasts as she looked at me. Your house probably has nothing to it. What? What was it? Right. Shema. Shema. Some words used in cognitive science. If you keep thinking you are scared, then you start seeing faces in the ceiling. That sort of thing. Because you are hearing squeaking every day, you are seeing numbers from the screeches that always were in your house. Seriously? Seriously? I mean, you came to Tokyo alone, from super ruralness in Shizuoka, and this is the first time you're living alone, right? And then you're living in an old wooden house alone. So it's not too surprising. I used to live in a house that grounded and squeaked a lot, so I know how you feel. It's like the sound of saran wrapping, so it's pretty discomforting. So she said, as she raised her hand toward the beer from the waitress. Well, wait then. If that was just me being a wuss, then what would she say? Should I say to the occult veterans that were coming to the offline meeting? Will I get banned from the wonderful state from being an airhead and in just one night? Don't worry about it. She laughed. You're a bunch of folk that love meeting and trading shady stories. But it shouldn't be that simple. There are about 10 people coming to this meeting. And then Karasu said, huh? And look at me. You hadn't looked? What? At meeting. I think it's over 30 people are showing up. Oh my god, that's a lot. What? I already accessed the Ikakubuchi offline meeting board to my cell phone. And then opening the house that grant wishes investigation thread and was taken aback. You're right. Why would the numbers suddenly rocket? Are that many people interested in the granted house wishes? Apparently yes. Unfortunately, not at all. See, even the regular Sue and Zippo are coming to the meeting, right? They wouldn't move for some mere horror tale. Some horror tale? She laughed at the expression I made as she plucked the phone from my hand and then played with it. And then she turned the screen to me. This, the fourth poster, going by the name Yoshi. I think this many people are showing up because this one announced their participation. Who is Yoshi? No idea. Okay. That's random. Said Karasu with a grin as she pulled out a cigarette. She lit the cigarette using a worn slender lighter and after blowing out a puff of smoke, quietly whispered. Those that meet Yoshi die 7 days later. What? There's more. Yoshi isn't a living person. Offline meetings that Yoshi attend and insert in terror. What else was there? What is that? Something like an urban legend that started being whispered around Ikaikabuchi. Yet no one actually met Yoshi. No one knows if Yoshi is some old man or even what gender they are. However, everyone who attend a meeting that Yoshi goes to remain silent. the entire thread disappears. The participants stop going to Ikagubuchi or they die. Her low whisper felt like ice cold water splashing down the back of my neck. Oh. The other side, Karasu happily received her glimmering cup of beer and exclaimed, "Ah, delicious! Well, like at the salt home." Oh, she's good. That was a good one. The only concern for me now is that it's actually counted from 7. That's bad. But those are just rumors, right? I asked. And she laughed. That's right. So basically, even if the house and grant wishes is a miss, there's hope of Yoshi, so everyone gathering for fun. So you don't have to fret about it any. She said, but I still felt mixed emotions. Until today, I was trembling with fear alone, unable to go home. And then I suggested a day offline meeting in the hopes of getting the opinions of the veterans of Ikakabuchi. Having the story blown off immediately as the misunderstanding wasn't sufficient to quell my fears. However, if Yoshi has gotten interested, might the house that grant wishes be real? Who knows? I'm just interested in seeing how Yoshiko's appearance changes a horror story that doesn't interest me into something more eerie. She's like, doesn't interest? She's like, whatever, like, just some haunted house. I better things to do. If it still bothers you, Ikakabuchi has a page for investigation haunted areas. You can request an investigation, although I still think you will just end up being laughed at. She laughed, as she quickly finished her beer. Indeed, Ikakabuchi sighed. I did routinely check out haunted areas around the country regardless of fame. After investigation, haunted areas were graded on a scale of A to D, with A being called the most dangerous of spots. This rating was very unique, in that famed areas such as Masakudo Kubuiduka and Iwanairi were given a D rank by Ikabuchi. In other words, they were rated as the lowest level of danger. Supposedly, it was because it had become an area that was evenly split, as humans and ghosts treated each other with respect. On the other hand, places given A were often unknown to the common populace. Places such as crime scenes that involved murders before forth by Tick's emotions, such as infatuation and jealousy, isolated locales of death by seniors who maintained fanatic delusions, and so on. They say those places serve as light rods for souls that resented the current world, souls that had lost personalities, and simply became clumps of malicious intent far beyond saving. As I thought such things, Karasu had begun peering intently at my face. "Hey, Nagi-kun." "Yes?" "You have the mark of a meeting." "Yes?" "And this is a girl." "Huh? Seriously?" "What?" My expression loosens at her words. "Can you tell me a little more?" She began playing with the skull-shaped accessory near her breast as she continued. "How should I put it? It's a very tense meeting. Like, two souls previously split are reuniting, but..." She said, seemingly looking through me and at a different world. "It's hard to say if meeting this girl will actually result in happiness for you." "What's that?" "And furthermore, wait, isn't she dead?" "Hey. Isn't it like being possessed?" "You've gotta be kidding me. I thought, but I also remember that she would tell me such ominous things every time we met." Previously, she told me that I had bicycle luck, and then I got hit by a mama cycle on the way back. And then she told me that I had a good fortune, and was happy. But then I stepped on a gold-colored thumbstack at home. Okay, yeah, don't take her seriously, at least too seriously. In other words, she was very good at presenting unfortunate things in a way that you can't tell it's unfortunate, which is important skill for fortune teller, I suppose. You know, Karasu, if you're a fortune teller, should you also tell people how to avoid misfortune, actually? I asked. Oh my god. Well, it's up to the person. Okay, yeah. But that face. But it's up to the person whenever to think of something as unfortunate. She stuck out her tongue in a cute way, and then shouted to the employee passing by, "Over here, please!" As I sat there watching over her in a vexed manner, the door chime sounded repeatedly, and suspicious-looking people filed in one after another. Seeing how they were all coming over after noticing Karasu, I deduced they were people attending to the offline meeting. Yo, Karasu, as beautiful as ever. Long time no see, you too, Maru. I'm so excited. We have such charming disposition. As such conversation continued, my seat in the back of the family restaurant slowly became surrounded by activity. Every now and then I would see a familiar face, but most I had never seen before. I'd actively been participating in offline meetings in Tokyo, and that I continued seeing new faces and masse each time made me realize how deep the world of the occult was. Just after 11, the group that had gathered to the back of the family restaurant with the old interest had passed 30. Or rather, I'd picked the family restaurant figuring there would be 10. There would be 10, so this was pretty big transgression. The looks from the waitress passing awkward smiles at me hurt. "Are there more coming?" I quietly asked Karasu, who was engaging in friendly chat with other attendants. And she was a bit blushed as she responded, "It's way too late now. There are a bunch of people who show up without saying anything, so there will probably be a few more." That's problematic. This might scare away Yoshi too. She commented lightly, but this might be really troublesome. Yeah, we have like a lot of occult people in like one place. That would be weird. So, which one's Yoshi? As expected, not even an hour passed before the conversation blew past the house that granted wishes. The countless occult veterans crammed into the family restaurant. Each looked around them, frantically looking for the accursed Yoshi. "Alright, I propose introducing ourselves," said the middle-aged man, going by the handle Professor, with his blushed face. Seeing empty beer mug scattered around his table revealed how drunk this person was, and then in response, others chanted, "Yeah, let's do it," and one by one, people stood up and gave the greeting. As the last half of the participants were getting quite drunk, people began feeling less like occult maniacs and more like a complete drinking party. "First, I'm Professor. My preferred area of occult are stories from people of post-trauma ethnicity. Second, I'm Rabbit. I love folklore about Roman Sakuma-sama. Third, I'm Harley. I got excited by stuff related to O parts. At the moment, I'm researching Voynich manuscripts. What are they going first, second, third for? And why are Rabbit and Harley both jumping on the wagon?" The occult maniacs were very playful, and so they began introducing themselves one by one. With incredibly loud volume, I alone seems to be talking. The brunt of the customers glare from the rest of the restaurant. "Seventh, I'm Karasu." When she energetically stood up, a round of applause arose, and in response, she began socializing every which way, so I gave up. Yeah, I think I like Karasu. She's cool. She's cool. Cheerful and everything. Having some creepy stories to talk. Come to think of it, it could be said that every offline meeting for Ikagabuchi turns out this way. So it's like a trait of the site. Here, Nagi-kun, it's your turn next. Urged by Karasu, I beggarly stood up. 8. I'm Nagi. I'm university student. What type of occult do you like? I like anything wonderful, but right now, things related to ghosts. When I lightly responded to the question that had been flung at me, people began shouting, "You are too tightly wound. You need to drink more." And someone ordered a beer for me. Man, I'm still 18. I'm underage. I can drink. Yeah, in Japan you can drink at age of 21 actually. Fun fact. Don't worry, I will drink it. Just act like you're drinking and they will be pleased. Laughed Karasu as she smacked my butt with her palm. Oh my god. Well, this is actually pretty cheerful for now, but apparently it's like pretty dark and horror, so I don't know. Well, in any case, the 30 or so people introduced themselves like this. And the conclusion? There was no one here who went by the handle Yoshi. Ha! So they didn't show up. I showed up to see Yoshi. Is anyone faking their handle? Said people one by one, but given the most had never seen other, and that offline meeting weren't particularly rare, it was hard to figure out if anyone was lying. Well, as we are all gathered, we can discuss that the house that grant wishes is... I began, but Sue spoke over me. I think an old veteran of Ikagabuchi who managed a liquor store and liked collecting things like an arms of Tengu and the shell of Kappa, if I remember correctly. Yoshi might be a different handle of Krishna. I was sighing, but reacted to that name. Huh, that would make sense, someone responded. If we summarize the rumors involving Yoshi, if you deal with Yoshi, you will have a terrifying end. Yoshi isn't a living person. Those that meet Yoshi die 7 days later? Something like that? But we never heard any specifics of anyone dying and maybe certain threats were disappearing? Because Krishna was secretly joining the horror area investigations? Is what I think anyways. I see. Nodded even Karasu. Krishna hasn't been showing up lately either, so that would make sense. Wait, please. I chimed in. Krishna isn't the administrator of Ikagabuchi Krishna? Everyone's met him? Met him, or rather, he's always showed up the meeting before. He's not here today. You want to see him? Of course. The reason I became interested in the site, Ikagabuchi, in the first place, was being the person named Krishna was so fascinating. Of course, part of it was that I was interested in the occult from the start, but there was a different sort of attraction with Ikagabuchi. I have a feeling like Krishna is already dead. I have a feeling like something terrible happened to him and he just disappeared because he just died somewhere. They were like investigating he was like probably investigating some area by himself. He had some accident and he just didn't get found yet. Probably. That was apparent, for instance, by looking at the odd words on the top of the page. Things that bother people also bother ghosts. From the start, Ikagabuchi was a site intended to soothe matters between peoples and ghosts. Most people can't see ghosts. That's why, regardless of our lack of ill intent, that we probably bother ghosts more than they do us. It was a perspective that was both fresh and unique. And as I read articles about random horror areas on the Ikagabuchi, My conviction deepened. Each article was filled with care towards ghosts, taking care to show respect towards both the living and the dead. I always wondered, why are people always afraid of ghosts? Perhaps some ghosts play tricks on people, while other ghosts say, come on, stop it, and are stepping in and intervening, yet no one ever thinks of that possibility. Maybe that sort of order is maintained by ghosts, and is why the vast majority of people live without ever without being bothered by the supernatural. That paragraph struck a chord with me in particular. So maybe by just living in this house, you are just... yeah, the ghosts just don't want you there, basically. But why then everyone else would be successful? Maybe these were just rumors. Maybe these people weren't successful. Maybe they are actually dead. This is weird. I wonder if we should like take these scribblings as real, or it's actually imagination of our main character. Huh. I wonder how serious we should take it. These words moved me when I just arrived in Tokyo and hadn't met anyone I could call a friend. I realized more than ever, that people were connected to the other people through candor. It gave me courage that I could make do in Tokyo, where it's said that people's relationships with other people are weak and diluted, where people try to avoid needless interaction with other people as much as possible. That was actually why I began participating in the site. I became attracted to this person named Krishna, by their daily updates of the wonderful. Krishna is like... is it the name like of some like god in some mythology or something? I think so. You can let me know in the comments. His deep yet wide-ranging knowledge of the occult, his in-depth, cool writing style, the truth that could be felt from each other and every word. These were all things I lacked, and were packed with things that my soul needed right then. I'd gotten to the point where I felt like Krishna had become like my brother and father in Tokyo. And if I could, I wanted Krishna to investigate the house that grant wishes himself. Maybe he already did and he died. Might be. How old is Krishna? What kind of person is he? Akiko, you are stuttering. Calm down. Here, have a drink. Underrated by the interruptions by Sue and others, I rephrased my question. Please tell me, how could I meet him? However, the response to my question was an awkward silence by the 30. I think he won't show up at the offline meeting again. Yeah, I expected that. They would know that he's dead. He's dead probably. Why? Something's happened. Some things? Well, eventually you will find out. Leave it be for now. I only received vague responses for like that. Yeah, they don't want to talk about this. This is probably too fresh topic. What broke the silence at the family restaurant was Zippo, who I think worked as a programmer. I oppose that opinion? That opinion? I asked Karasu, and Zippo pushed his thick glass up and slowly answered. That Yoshi and Krishna are the same person. That thought. What do you mean? Actually, I know someone who's met Yoshi at the offline meeting. Really? The gathering immediately rose in the unison. What sort of person? How old? Guy, girl, which offline? They all asked, and Zippo quietly answered. The offline meeting was of an investigation of an abandoned hospital in the Tama prefecture about half years ago. And what was Yoshi like? Well, I don't know. You don't know? Karasu asked, and Zippo swallowed once before answering. Because he's hospitalized. Hospitalized? Physiatric ward. And with that, the excitement gathering returned to the silence. It was as if something heavy had descended upon the seats. Psychiatric ward, okay, so he's kind of crazy, probably. Well, yeah. Could happen, always could happen, of course. So that's how they found him. They did an investigation on the place and they just found a person in the psychiatric who claimed to be Yoshi. Or go by the name Yoshi, basically. And they believe that. I mean, they need to feed their, like, occult minds, right? Hospital is in psychiatric ward. Is that Yoshi's fault? I asked Sue, and Zippo slowly shook his head. Oh! Oh! I was wrong. I thought like they were talking about Yoshi, but he talks about Krishna. I was wrong. Sorry. Oh, I just skipped. The Yoshi fault? I don't know, but even after regaining consciousness, all he mumbled is Yoshi. That's why I came to this meeting. Because if Yoshi came, I wanted to ask what happened in that offline meeting. I was silent when Zippo stopped speaking. And then, the family restaurant was filled once again with stories of Yoshi. Come to think of it, was the type of statement proceeding conversation, as one after another tales of Yoshi leaked out from people? If I were to summarize such topics, it seems Yoshi infrequently appeared on the Ikagabuchi forum. Its appearance was not common, but whenever it showed up, it would post in almost every thread, providing opinions on everything, regardless of how maniacal the topic. Given the time or appearance, Yoshi could be imagined as an occult maniac that was sitting in front of a computer almost 24 hours a day. It had knowledge of supernatural to rival Krishna, but their posts showed no signs of sharing the ghost love that defined Krishna. If anything, they could be described as more eerie, as if that person had eerily joined the internet. Interesting. Maybe the rumors that Yoshi isn't a living person, they might be true after all. Mabel Jersey, who said he was a writer for a magazine. Remember that thread that popped up some time ago? I'm a ghost. But do you have any requests? Any questions? The one where IP traces and PC and hosts all came up empty? So people wonder whenever it was real? I'm of an opinion that eternal forms have good synergy with computers and digital equipment. Because you know, brainwaves are weak electrical signals too. I can see why they think about that. Do you hear a lot of tales of ghosts writing online? Then that Yoshi mumbled Sue in a summarizing way. You can see it, but is it already here? Those words with such chill down my spine. I looked around. The brightly lit store. It wasn't just me. It seems like everyone felt something cold. After that, the gathering seems to decide to avoid talking about ghosts. Gradually seats became arranged by topic as people broke off into their areas of interest. As the host of the offline meeting, I wanted to bring back the original topic, but I was certain no one remembered anything about my house. Furthermore, Sue was telling fascinating eerie stories. That was too interesting to pass up. and box brought from the antique store that could not be opened. Ghost stories involving paper money found behind a painting on a hotel wall. A laughing girl who spoke often to a doll. It provided entertainment that could leave you sleepless when alone at night. Yeah, so basically no one really cared about the apparently haunted house that we lives in. I'm kind of like disappointed that everyone thinks that this is bullshit total and they just go with other stories. Everyone forgot about time as they enjoyed the endless flow of occult discussions. And around 1 AM, the offline meeting dispersed. Huh. Wait a second. I chased Karasu as she flagged taxi while glancing at the Ikakabuchi members scattering in small groups. What about my house? The house that grants wishes. Yeah, exactly. That's the way why I came here in the first place. And then the useless fortune teller waved her hand with completely flushed face. No problem, no problem. It's Shema. And what else? I was going to tell you something, but I forgot. What do you mean forgot? Don't worry, you have to mark of my meeting. You have a mark of a meeting, see ya. Yeah, talking about that girl. She smacked my back, and then happily jumped into the stop taxi. I stood there dumbfounded as I saw the taxi run off. Huh. I wonder if it was alright to go home. To that house. I wondered if it's still counting down. The house that grant wishes. Jiten Shika. This one. Because this is she, and this is G. This is Te, G, Te, N, she, and this is Ka. I walked towards the train station, using the main street, dragging along the Mamba cycle that I bought really cheap online for commuting to school. Okay. Ooh, we got with some creepy music again. Tokyo was filled with people even late at night. In particular, the area around the train station near my house was close to many universities, so there seems to be no difference in the amount of people mailing about from noon to night. But around where I could see the station, I almost ran into a pair of girls and apologized. One showed me, who's this punk? Look, but the other smiled and said, I'm sorry, and apologized once more. That was all there was to it, but it filled my heart with joy. Indeed, a fateful meeting was lying in the wait for me. And a girl, no less. This might be a good. The bizarre events tormenting me at the house must surely be a build-up for the happiness that waited. In the future, I would look back at it and laugh it off. I have a feeling like that would not be the case. I felt less burdened when I thought of it that way. And this way, I wouldn't have to move out. Moving costs would be painful for me. Given that I was receiving no aid from home, the offline meeting was fun too. I can't keep complaining. I mumbled to myself, and I finally straddled the bike. I turned completely around, and decided to return home for the first time in a few days. I swear, like, I wonder if it's still counting. Is he going to come back home and it will be 4 somewhere on the wall? Is this going to be it? No one came to the offline meeting today, said anything about the house that grants wishes. If you look at it from another angle, it means it can possibly be a ghost incident. It's a bit shameful as the original poster, but it's good in the end, right? What would have happened if I just dragged people over to my house and it turned out that there were no ghosts. I'd just be a laughing stock. I would say it's still better than having like probably actually haunted house. Having finished arming myself with logic, I faced the soft, comforting night with a night breeze and powered the pedals. I recovered to the point where I may have even hummed. However, I noticed it when I was about to re-enter the main street from the arcade in front of the train station. There was a strange, abnormal feeling on the back of my left foot. Did you step into something? It was like I was constantly stepping on gum, so I stopped my bike and took out my sneaker right here. Yeah, that might be a sticked gum or something. That sucks. I hate that feeling. Like, it didn't happen like for a long time to me, but yeah, I still remember like this is awful. Blah blah. And then I lifted my left foot a bit, looked at the sole and froze. Okay, what is this? All of my good feelings were extinguished, and I felt my blood freezing. On the back of my sneaker... Oh my... What? Oh... What the hell? Oh shit! Oh fuck! It's following him. Oh! And he could feel it. Was engraved number 4. What? Okay, this is creepy. Oh my god. Damn it, what a hell scammer. The countdown was continuing. Oh my god, seriously? I pushed the motorcycle along with the mostly a half step, and every person passing gave me a strange look, owing to my frantic look, but I paid them no heed. I threw away the sneaker with some yawn engraved on the spot. I couldn't continue wearing such a eerie thing. The cold of concrete and scattered pebbles pierced my feet through my socks, but I didn't care. Why? When there was... Okay, I will just go in with English. Why? When there was 4 carved into the back of my sneaker. What was going to happen when the countdown ended? And how would I be able to escape from this terror? Yeah, like seriously, like... When did it happen? And also... He could feel it under his feet. This is like totally abnormal. You couldn't explain even having this engraved on his sneaker, but having to feel it, like something stick to your sneaker. This is like some like high tier weird stuff. I had no idea, but in any case I kept running. People in fancy clothing looked at me and laughed, but I didn't care. I just wanted somewhere with a warm atmosphere. Where? Where would that be? Oh! Eventually I found a discount shop, open late in the night after passing through the arcade, and I jumped in. I think like, this is a happy moment. And maybe we'll end the episode here. Should we? Nah, I will continue. I'm reading probably kinda slow, so if I want to go to 2 episodes, then I need like a little bit more, so yeah, let's just continue. Let's see what's going to happen. A stupidly bright dim song was playing in the background. The massive products were incredibly cheap, and I sang along with a simple, repetitive melody. Flamboyantly dressed girls avoided me as I stood there, leaning against a shelf holding cosmetics and mumbled to myself. Yeah, that would be weird. An employee asked me, "Are you unwell?" and I finally realized that my left foot, which was only covered by socks, was throbbing. When I looked, perhaps I'd stepped on a shard of glass on the way. As I saw, the socks had been cut and bloodied. Oh, that sucks. Well, the adrenaline is like going off now, so he would feel it. Also, I'm out of like drinking stuff. I bought bandages. Socks, and the cheapest sneaker. And cleaned the wound in the bathroom. Wait, you can buy like single sneaker? Wait, is that like actually possible? Maybe it's just only in Japan. Have you ever heard about buying just one boot? Let me know in the comments. Maybe it's a thing and I like never knew that. Is that a thing in your country? I don't know. Is that a thing in Japan? I cleaned the back of my foot, placed the bandage, and wore new socks. The cheap sneaker had a shoddy design, and wasn't very comfortable, but was better than being barefoot. It was an unnecessary expense, but I felt comforted. I was afraid of being in the bathroom alone, so I returned the inside of the store, and took deep breaths as I wandered around the store, as if window shopping. What should I do now? I thought, but could come with no answer. At some point, I just began standing in the front of show window, absent-mindedly. What the fuck? Is this the? I think this is the mistranslation. There's like spacebar. It's like absent-mindedly. God damn it. And the employee from before asked if anything was wrong again, so I left the store. There was no helping it, so I began heading towards the cafenet I'd been using before, but it was already full. I peeked into the nearby karaoke box, but there was even a line spilling out into the street. I tried wandering around several stores, but they were all the same. Oh my god, it's like the fate wants him to go back to home. What the hell? Come to think of it, it was Saturday night. There would be no openings until the first train. Well, you can always wait in line if you really don't want to go back, so I don't see a problem here. However, I could not think of another place to go. I wandered around the station while dragging my bike, and the police would shoot me suspicious looks. I almost felt like it would be more comforting to be arrested, but some level of common sense remained in me, so I turned back to the main street. The headlights of the cars on Ikatsuchi Street illuminated me as they passed by. Normally, the car just looked like fuel-consuming devices, but today, I felt consoled by them. It was invigorating to look upon things that could be scientifically explained. However, I may have been at my limits. This is no different from being homeless. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think about the story. I have a feeling, what I think right now, because we had this mention that he have like a mark of the girl on himself, right? And maybe she's dead already. Maybe. So what if this countdown is like a countdown to the time when he meets her? When he meets with that ghost of this girl that is marked like on him. Maybe that's what it is. And then I don't know what will happen. Maybe she will like actually grant some wishes or something. And this is all creepy and stuff, but it will have a happy end. I don't know, maybe. Huh. I had no one. I was intimate with enough in Tokyo, where the lights were never dims. I had no place to go, and I was running low on funds. I spontaneously looked at the night sky, but just as there was no clouds, there were no stars. It was just an obsidian dimension that stretched on as if painted. Perhaps I could call my sister and borrow some money in the morning. and then go back to Shizuoka. Tokyo was too much for me, which was something humiliating to say, but this was just too unexpected. I'd imagine most people would have trouble with such a case too. Mother, I'm sorry. You supported me so much in coming to Tokyo. Then? Is there a free maybe? I saw a strong light at the end of the night street. Okay. When I looked up, I realized I'd come back to the family restaurant. Oh, so he like circled around. Okay. I see. This is also open 24 hours. So you could just stay here. You could just stay here. That was enough to make me feel like I'd found a million allies. And my knees buckled. Almost buckled. The drink bar here was cheaper than that cafe. And there were plenty of people about due to it being Saturday night. I should have just stayed here from the start. Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? I laughed at myself, really. And I must have been very hard approach with how I looked. Yeah, you're dumb. Anyways, I left my mama's cycle at the bicycle lot for the family restaurant. And then was about to enter when I recoiled. There was something even more bizarre that made me not want to get any closer. Outside the big glass window of the store, inside the fern ticket that seems to have been planted to cover the store. Oh, a girl. Was a girl dressed in full black. Ah. I think this is a good place to end. I think this is the perfect place to end. We will see in the next episode who this girl is. Is this the girl that Karasu? I think her name was Karasu mentioned? That she saw in the mind of our main character? I don't know, but I think this is a good place to end. Let me know in the comments what you think about the story so far. What's your prediction for the story? Do you like it? And yeah, I wonder what the countdown is. We'll see. Maybe we'll end in the next episode. Maybe we'll stretch it to 3 episodes. I don't know. I don't know how long it will take me. Anyway, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. It's apparently a very short story and I like how it's going. It's going pretty fast. And it's keeping my mind inside of it. So also the art is great. I like the art. So anyway, that will be it. So thank you for joining for this new episode, new series, and I'll see you next ones. So thank you once again for joining and for the Pocket Watch. It's going out.